Greetings, welcome to HASSDISCUSSES. I'm the host, Mike Hass, joined by Daniel Dolphin and another reoccurring guest on the show. We got Drew Dumchus out here.
You know it. What's good, Mike? Hello, Daniel. Glad to be on the show once more.
Hello, I'm glad to be on this show for the first time.
Yeah, this is his first time. But I'm going to talk, so Daniel will do a lot of things. We were going to do a Tarantino episode, but I still haven't watched, what's the names? What's that one, 2007 Tarantino film that's flew under the radar? The Grindhouse one. What was that?
Hateful Eight?
No, the Grindhouse one that it was like Deathwood. No.
Oh,
the one where they're on the car.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Death Proof. Yeah, I didn't watch that. Like nobody watched that, but I didn't watch it.
Okay, I've heard that movie is actually really good. The death scenes are great. It's heavily overrated.
Kurt Russell.
Oh, I love Kurt Russell. Yeah, he's the main serial killer fella.
Amazing at that film.
And there's one girl, Zoe, you know, Zoe 101. Yeah. Nah, but that's what's her name? That's the Spears sister. There's Jamie Lynn and there's Brittany. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
The one who got knocked up by Dan Schneider.
Zaire and WSC Tony.
Oh yeah, facts. They're the goons. Had them on the show. Not Zaire, but WSC Tony. Anyway, so we're just gonna be here to talk about just all things Lord of the Rings. I also want to talk about The Hobbit a little bit. I love the 3 Hobbit movies. I feel like they're hated on for some reason. But let's just start off with the Lord of the Rings first, then get into the Hobbit series. And has anybody here read the books though?
Yes, I have read the books.
He's read the books. What about you?
No, sir.
You read the Harry Potter books, didn't you?
I read the Harry Potter
and the Percy Jackson. You're one of those Percy Jackson dickheads.
But I was into Greek mythology before Percy Jackson was the thing.
All right, there you go. That's good. Okay. All right, what were you saying?
So the thing about the Lord of the Rings books, let me explain that. They give so much more detail because it is a book, but they do it. The fun thing about the books is that and the worst thing about the books is that they kind of drag out the scenes too long, and it's very hard to read them. But I have read all of them. But at the same time, I do prefer the movies more than the books, which I have read and have seen at the same time.
Yeah. If you want to learn about certain locations or characters that weren't more explained in the movies, what's that one bull's name? Tom Bombadil.
Yes.
People like him, people like places such as the areas just the what are they called? The Aragorn is a
Aragon.
Aragorn's like one of those they call him a raider, or what do they call him? Strider. No, but he's like a group of rangers. Yeah, the Rangers of the North. There's a whole explanation of each ranger in where they're from and how there's couple 100 or so rangers that protect certain people, not just from the Nazgul, many other threats in the land, and they were kind of placed there hundreds of years ago. It's just there's all these explanations, and it's a cool lore to get into. And even at the end of the series when they just fly away on a boat, there's chapters dedicated to where Frodo and Bilbo go on a boat to, at the end of the movie. Yes. It's like a place where all the gods live or something. It's not heaven, but
there's a hard rumor about that ending at the end. What me and my dad and my family watched the film. What we concurred was that they were just off to dying.
What?
They were off to dying, yeah.
No, the books explain it, bro. They Frodo lived to be 50 years after he went on the journey there, and shit. A lot of them, that's the resting pit. That's going to that's going to the senior homes. That's what they're talking about. They just got tired and they're I'm just gonna go chill with the gods. I'm gonna chill with the gods. Because Gandalf and all the wizards are the physical embodiments of the Maiar, which are a certain they're not gods, but they're not huge gods, but they're he's the physical embodiment of this huge spiritual entity from the land of Valor or whatever they call it. It starts with a V, or Valinor. Just there's so many fucking things, and that's why the books are good, because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about because we only read the books once. But I'm sure there's those guys that live in their their parents' basements that read the shit every day, that know everything about this shit. Yeah, what were you saying?
Okay, one thing I like about the movies, in particular the theatrical cuts of the movies, is that the books and with the director's cuts that are 4 hours long per movie, you don't really get the sense of adventure anymore. You don't get the mystery. You don't get the mystique of the land. You know, the whole point of watching these movies is to obviously watch the adventure. You read the books because you want to see the adventure. And seeing what happens after it and seeing all the lore behind it, not all of it, but just overwhelming amounts of lore can just detract you from the whole, at least for me, it gets rid of the fantasy element and it's just another, like, just history type thing.
Because, like, when I finished this movie, because I've rewatched the whole, all, like, you know, 9 hours or however long it is. Like, when I'm done this, I get sad that I'm done the fucking thing. Like, I'm sad that I am not in this world anymore. I am sad I am not in Middle Earth anymore. I am sad I'm not there with these protagonists and watching them, you know, fight the good fight. And, you know, do you want to go into a simple explanation of the story just for our listeners or viewers?
Who haven't seen Lord of the Rings?
They probably have all seen it, but, like, let's just start off with Fellowship of the Ring. Let's talk about best moments of Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay.
Any key moments? Obviously, we were talking about earlier how it starts off in the Shire before the adventure happens, and how Gandalf is starting to notice Bilbo, who was on previous adventures before the movie started. He was noticing that Bilbo was sort of hiding around this ring that was he was kind of very protective about this ring, and slowly people are starting to notice about this ring around the world and how powerful it can be, and there's many forces after this ring because it wants to get back to its rightful ruler, which is Sauron. And the first half of the movie is them protecting the ring, and then they sort of bind a fellowship. Let's talk about best moments of the movie.
Best moments of the movie. Without a doubt, the best moment had to be when they were in the Mines of Moria.
Yes.
The Mines of Moria. That I can go on and on forever about that whole entire scene. But that one scene where they are all in that one cave and they are just enclosed there and they have to fight all those orcs.
Yeah, as they're like pounding on the door.
Yes.
Because they're, you know, what's cool is like everything's so set up well because they were like in the they were all like everything is raining and shit, and like and they were like outside of the mountain, and they could have gone the long way or they could go like a safer way, and they had to go through here. And it's just like, when I say Mines of Moria are the shit, they are the shit. They thought they were going to be greeted by their cousin Phil or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that the dwarves thought that there would be a bunch of dwarves and they see all these corpses. And even before they get in, they're getting attacked by an octopus. I thought for a minute when I was watching, I thought, is Will Turner from Pirates of the Caribbean in here? I thought I was watching Pirates of the Caribbean first, and I was like, oh wait, no, it's just an octopus that's like in the middle of some lake in the middle of a mountain, which I never expect, but it's still cool. Like like, you know, fucking cool. It's octopus.
And what's crazy about scenes like that is when I'm looking back at the movie, I might not even remember that happened, but that's in another movie watching that. That's, you know, that's huge. And that's what I love about the first movie in particular. I mean, the entire series, of course, Lord of the Rings is perfect at this. The world building. In a relatively brief amount of time, you can just get exposed to this entire world. You know, you have the Shire, you have all these regions. I can't name any on the top of my tongue, but the Shire, let me tell you about that. It's just some wholesome little place where these hobbits live in peace. I love the whole vibe. I love that. And
like the beer
these people are just
on Sundays, you know what I mean?
They're taking, you know, Frodo, Samwise, they're just taken from their home and they got to go on this journey. And you know how that feels because we're going to go through something like that, all of us in our lives, and that's important. You know, that huge journey you're traveling through. There's this beautiful panning shots of the countryside. It's beautiful.
The amazing thing is about this story is that, like, Frodo is new to all of this, and he does not know, like, what's gonna happen to him. He thinks he's just gonna go like, but then, like, when they meet at that one part where the elves, like, in what's the place called again where all the elves? Riverdale? No.
It's not our
Okay. Rivendell. Thank you. When they all meet there, he, like, you see the one part where, like, the ring is almost calling to him, and that now he knows he has to get rid of this burden by himself. And he has that realization where he realizes, like, I have to take this ring to Mordor, and I have to just get rid of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, he starts to realize that you can't just have a couple goons with you and it's gonna happen like that. Like, you know, you can't just have a couple friends with you because this is real life. This ring is a corrupting person. It's like No, what I could say about this, it's like if you were it's like if you carried $1 million with you in gold chains, and you had to drop it in a pit of fire in 1,000 miles away in another country. It's like you were taking that money with you. And do you think that on the way to drop a bunch of $1 million in this fire, you think that some people want to take that? That's how he's feeling. He's feeling like he's carrying the most valuable thing ever where they are living, and everybody's trying to get it slowly, like becoming like tempted to just grab that shit from him. So he's starting to realize, I gotta be on my own, I gotta be in my bag and focused to get where I gotta go and do this. Like there's so many like realization moments for him, and he just realizes it's not just gonna happen like that. It's not just gonna happen like that. Journeys are complicated in many different ways. And this is one of the movies where you don't give the ending's not the most important part. It's more about the specific moments where some big shit happens that changes what will happen at the ending. It's just everything's well set up, obviously.
Oh, you can go.
No, it's okay. You can go.
Okay. Another thing I'd like to talk about, the characters in this movie are also great. There are so many characters. It's a whole fellowship of many people. And you get people like Boromir, who are just... they're just chilling off to the side, but they have their own huge arcs. He almost betrayed the Fellowship for a minute, and then he sacrificed himself in that fantastic battle scene near the end. Oh my god.
Amazing.
Boromir is like one of my favorite characters.
Oh yeah, he's the realest one.
Of the whole...
Like...
I like flawed characters.
He was flawed because he fell for the greed of the ring.
I love how we're talking about Fellowship right now. And let's not forget, like, without a doubt, possibly the most famous scene, like, in that film is when Gandalf is standing at that bridge with that you shall not pass. You shall not pass. Listen, at that moment, like, I think that's the part where the realization of where Frodo had it. Gandalf died. He's at this one moment, and
he says he realizes it's a risky fucking journey. It's risky. Mm-hmm. It's a risky journey, and that he doesn't want anybody else to like go down some horrible circumstances because of him. He feels like he should be on his own and not risk all his other friends to either try and take the ring from him or lose to other incoming threats who are also looking for the ring. So he realized that he's be a stealth mode. He has to only bring a couple people with him, and shout out Samwise. Everybody needs
Samwise.
Let's talk about I'm talking about Samwise. Everybody in their life needs a Samwise.
That is
fact. Everybody in life needs a Samwise. Fact. We need that's that brother. That's the day one, like, having me with him. Everybody needs that type of person, and that's just have their friendship and bond and how they care for each other is so powerful. It's probably the most powerful thing in the movie. In the whole series, the most powerful thing in the movie, don't tell me like Sauron's the most powerful movie. The dragons are the most powerful. The Gandalf's the most powerful person in the movie. The most powerful thing in the whole series is their friendship and how they never give up on each other and all this stuff. And it's just that. Call me corny, I don't care. It's just their friendship is powerful. Is all I can say about their friendship.
I just want to say something real quick. This is a bit of a spoiler because we're talking about the first movie right now, and this is on the third movie. But one of top 3 moment of the entire trilogy for me was when Samwise picked up Frodo. He said, I can't carry the ring, so I'll just carry you. He carries him uphill.
Chills, I can't carry for you, but I can carry you.
I get
just thinking about that
every time, man. Dude.
Listen, I will literally say this, but Return of the King, I know we're on Fellowship, but Return of the King has without a doubt sold my heart to my favorite movie of all time. Mostly because of the fact of the matter, it shows strong characters. Strong characters at their peak.
For Frodo.
Strong.
You get a sword and go running in.
Mainly because of the Shire, I'm going to have to say Fellowship's my favorite, but I get what you mean. Like, this whole, like, I used to watch, I don't know, I had a thing when I was a little kid. I had a thing where I would watch movies on VHS even though I could rent them. Like, I didn't care. Like, I loved going to garage sales and getting VHS versions of movies, and I would just pop in Fellowship. After that, Two Towers. After that, Return of the King, as I was cleaning my room, back to back to back. And I'd have to say, through all 3 movies combined, this is one of the greatest stories ever to be created at like ever. But the thing is that the cool thing about J.R.R. Tolkien is that people think that he was like some guy and he had some cool ideas and he wanted to show the themes of this, that, and the third. Well, if you look into J.R.R. Tolkien, he was just some guy who was very good at creating languages, and he was like a linguist and taught like the old Anglo-Saxon, the lesser evolved version of English that we speak nowadays. What he was doing, he was just like this professor, and he just got bored and started, and he, in the middle of a sentence, he just created the word hobbit, and he was like teaching verbs or some shit to some students. Like, he was just creating language, and he was like, okay, if I'm gonna create this cool language, like, I gotta create some characters. Like, he was just some smart guy.
He created the language of the elves.
Yeah, he just created a whole language of the elves. He created the Sauron language, the Mordor language, the language of the Darklands, or whatever they called it. And obviously he used Common Tongue in it, which is English. The dwarves even have their own language, and they even have their own like runic alphabet, and then translated it when the characters that speak English were, they would say it in the way it's pronounced and also show how it looks, and it have images drawn. It's just like, he's just so organized, but the main goal for him was just to create like this cool like languages and shit. And because
can we give mad props to the makeup team of those movies?
Oh yeah, now that's why the people look down on the Hobbit movies, because they had a lack of practical effects. And I'm not one to say that I only like practical effects, and I'm better than you because I like practical effects and they're better than CGI. But for the time that this came out, I do respect the practical effects and how there was a lot of CGI in this movies, like even like the Lord of the Rings ones. Not as much as obviously the Hobbit, but like I respect like the fucked up face of all these orcs. Like they just look like these, like they look like survivors of a nuclear bomb or something. Like look like it just looks so messed up and shit.
Well, during the film, I believe they did show like how the orcs are born. Right?
Yeah.
On the ground.
Yeah, well, that was
like that was
like a different species, though, right? I forgot its name.
No, that was a crossbreed between
orc and elf.
No, orc and man.
Oh, but that thing scared me, dude. That's
same. When I was young,
when I was young, dude, I was like,
I could eat like meatballs and stuff like that for like months because I kept thinking of that. I was like,
ooh, that, you know what's another good character actually? Christopher Lee. Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace.
Christopher Lee.
Rest in peace, Benny.
Christopher Lee.
The greatest villain actor of all time.
In that series, he was...
My favorite role of his is in Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. I'm joking. Alright. Nice. Shout out,
Darth Christopher Lee.
Darth Tyrannus. Count Dooku.
Count Dooku. It's man with the golden gun.
Bro, just the way he just pronounces words, just like like he's got. I would love to hear him like narrate a book or something. One of the deepest voices
I've ever heard in my whole entire life, without a doubt. Like, whenever he would like basically make a statement.
Didn't he play Dracula or some shit?
Yeah, he did at one point.
Back in '82.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another character who this is from Return of the King. That one scene where it showed the riders of
Riders of the North.
No, the riders of like that one. Well, the one scene where Pippin starts singing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, where the guy starts eating that part and like Pippin is singing and like.
Oh yeah, Merry and Pippin, another strong friendship.
Oh no, Merry and Pippin are like one of my favorite characters. One of the most
another strong friendship is Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
Fun dudes.
I'm gonna do my top 5 characters. I'm gonna say, no order. I'm just gonna say all 4 hobbits: Merry, Pippin, Sam and Frodo, and then Boromir or Aragorn. I don't know.
Yeah, so I got Aragorn, Gandalf.
Aragorn,
my bad. Aragorn, Gandalf, Samwise, and Frodo, and it really is between Merry and Pippin for me. I know a lot of people like Legolas. I know a lot of people like Legolas.
He's cool.
Yeah, he is cool.
I actually liked him a lot more in The Hobbit 3, Battle of 5 Armies, when he like defies the laws of gravity and steps on the fucking the falling pieces of bricks, and he steps on them, and like as they're falling and climbs like mid-air like on top of a brick that's falling and shit. But he was like very mean in The Hobbit, like, and prejudiced against dwarves in it. Like he was like, girl, why you? He didn't say this, but he was like, girl, why are you falling in love with a dwarf? But he was like, why art thou falleth in love with the dwarf? I see your heart lies with the. No, he says this probably. He says, I see your heart lies with the dwarf, or some shit. Like, come on. I mean,
I don't know if there was an unspoken relationship between Eowyn and Mary. Do you remember that in the third movie?
Is she the girl who kills the dragon?
No, kills like. Yeah, technically she does kill the dragon, yeah. And the rider of the dragon. She's like, I am no man. Yeah. That one girl. Yeah, and cool. I was like, no. Because at the beginning...
Power. Yeah, girl power. Yeah.
There was that one scene where, like, she's like, takes Mary... Because, like, she's like, we don't want Mary, like, in this battle. We don't want him to get hurt.
And she picks him up.
And she's like...
Oh, he hit that.
Yeah. Just without a doubt. I was like...
Oh, he hit that.
Then because he says, my lady. When riding her, I'm like...
My lady.
Yeah. I was like, oh. There's probably an unspoken relationship between those two.
I bet there's, like, a whole chapter in the book about them fucking...
Yeah. No. That's my problem with the books, dude. There's
so
much bulk.
There's I think it signals Boromir's brother getting with her at the end. If I remember correctly. There isn't?
Nah, Boromir's... Mr.
Wait, Boromir's brother, isn't that a... Is that a... No.
That was
Faramir.
Oh, Faramir. Oh, yeah. That guy's a G. I was thinking Isildur. That's a dude.
Nah, but, yeah. But you know the guy who played... You know Carl Urban? He was in The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
He's,
Yeah, he was in that.
But he was the guy when, Saruman corrupted a king of Rohan and corrupted him and was kind of doing this mind control type of thing before he became like non-mind controlled after Gandalf did the exorcist thing. But when that happened, he kicked out Carl Urban's character along with their riders, and those riders saved Merry and Pippin. Those riders, remember those guys? And they just they left like the burning carcasses of the orcs, and everybody thought Merry and Pippin died, but then no, they're all right.
Fun fact about that scene: didn't Aragorn, the actor, like actually break his toe? Yeah, broke his toe.
He screamed
while
in rage,
kicking.
Kicked the helmet.
It
took like 9 shots too. I think he put in an additional 2 shots.
Shout out Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen.
But he was in this new movie, Captain Fantastic, and that was excellent. Have y'all heard of that one?
I've heard of it.
Let's talk about. I want to talk about that for like 2 minutes. Like it's like this movie, and like this his wife gets cancer, and then she like kills herself because she knows she's gonna die, and then they're like, but he homeschools all his children, and they live out in the woods and stuff, and then it's like about their children going to the modern age. There's just, and he was also in Green Book. That won Best Picture. Yeah. Like, he's done a lot of great movies. And Hidalgo. Like, bro, Viggo Mortensen.
Like,
the trailer is in the VHS tape before it starts.
I just realized we're forgetting about, like, one of the most important characters of the series. No. Gollum. I changed my answer now. Gollum is my 5th favorite character. That is...
If anybody does a Gollum impression, shut the fuck up. I don't care.
No.
Oh, yeah, true.
Gollum, you're not funny. You're not funny.
Andy Serkis and the mocap team, that was next level. Like,
pioneering.
People can't do today what they did then, back then. It was insane.
Nobody knew what was going to happen when they saw that. That was a whole new, different type of beat, what they would just release with Andy Serkis. And it was insane.
And it's just crazy.
And not only that, his character was so... perfect in that series. It actually felt like that, like...
But what I have to say about his character...
I kind of felt sorry about his character.
But, oh yeah, I always thought his character was cool, but I didn't really give a shit about his character until the 3rd movie when they do his backstory, and I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Damn, like, he's not just a little piece of shit slime. Like, he was a dude, he was a person, and it shows what the ring can do to someone. Like, I imagine Sauron looks ugly as shit without his fucking mask on, after learning what the ring did to Gollum.
Played Shadow of Mordor?
No.
It tells you what he looks like. He was an elf.
He was an elf?
Yeah. In the series, he was an elf. I played the game.
Well, I mean, he was a Maiar. He was actually the same species as Gandalf. There's just so much conflicting.
You could tell.
Now that's a lot to dive into. But like, he was like a Maiar or something. There's like many different types of gods from where Frodo and Bilbo end up going at the end of the movie. But It's just fucking yeah.
All right, so Gollum. The thing about him, I wouldn't consider him that big of a villain, right? He's more of just an obstacle at the end, when they're trying to drop the ring into Mount Doom. But he's just a sign. He's just a warning of
what you
this
could
is
be
what
like
this
if
is
the
what
ring
you
could
can
take
become.
over you.
You're not too far from becoming like Gollum, and that's just huge for me because at first I thought he, just some crazy little weird dude walking around and he's got split personalities. Way more than that.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to start attaching themes to this movie. Like, what I want is people to just enjoy the characters and enjoy the specific characters in the adventure. But I don't want people to say, oh, this is a revelation. This is a representation of the World War II or something like that. Or this is a representation of Ronald Reagan or capitalism.
This is just an original.
It's just an original cool fucking story.
It is.
Tolkien
Doesn't-
in World War One. Just because
That
J.R.R.
doesn't
Tolkien was a
mean
World War I veteran
anything.
doesn't mean anything.
Like,
Might have
doesn't.
given him
Silence, poor favor. Like, dude.
It's insane.
Nobody cares about your opinion. New York Times bestselling author,
Yeah.
film critique. I want to tap into something real quick. What me and Drew were talking about is what do you care about more? Everyday viewer, do you care about a cool video essay done by some kid, or do you care about an article written in the most prestigious paper of New York by your best-selling author who's wrote a book on the history of cinema? Do you care in this article on the website .org.gov bio? Do you care in this prestigious article and he has a Rotten Tomatoes credit? Like, nobody cares. No, it's a snooze fest. Nobody cares about your articles. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I don't like all articles, but online film critics who are just like more normal people, like, nobody fucking cares.
I read that stuff and I'm like,
Exactly.
like, honestly, it's insane.
Yeah.
And then not only that, well, okay, I'm sorry, we're getting off topic real quick. I want to talk about Lord of the Rings battles.
How do we not talk about
that.
yet?
Okay, so let me.
Well, I mean, I'm probably gonna go 40 minutes with this shit, so we're good.
Okay.
So let me just start off with my favorite battle personally. The one battle at Helm's, not Helm's Deep. What's the one with the white? What's that one white place called where it's like?
Minas Tirith, I don't know.
Minas Tirith.
Yeah, Minas Tirith.
The battle of the the fields.
That was without a doubt. That was without a doubt one of the the most choreography battles I've ever seen in my whole entire
Remember
life.
when the troops are leaving that one place by the mountains right in front of Mordor, and the green light shoots up in the sky as Frodo, like, that's such a beautiful thing, and they're hiding and they don't want to get sighted. Like, that's probably one of my favorite parts of the that was probably the third movie, wasn't it? Or was it? Yeah, that was the third movie. Early third movie is like in the and what I remember the third movie is, like, I always get confused out of things because the third movie on VHS, it had two parts to the VHS tape because it was such a long movie, so it had to split that movie in half. And I remember, like, when he gets when someone gets captured by the spider, like, it cuts out, and I was like, dude, that's a great place to cut out and shit. And then it goes, like, right back. Like, that third movie, like, I'm gonna have to say the first. Nah, I'm gonna have to say, like, the first movie's, like, my favorite, but, like, the third movie's my second favorite, and the second movie is my third favorite. But the battles in the second movie and the third movie, like, the Fellowship of the Ring is more of a character developing type of movie.
It's more of like a fast paced.
In terms of, like, that epic scale,
the third movie
is like
at a peak. It's just as high.
Mid second movie.
Shit happens if I.
What I'd say is mid second movie to all of the third movie.
It just everything's
the second half of the whole series is all epic battles.
It's something else. It's like it's something else. It's like the third movie. Like, most people didn't like the final fight that much. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
No. I hear that most people were like saying it was kind of too like not showing that much battle scenes. I'm like, the one scene where Aragorn, my bad.
You're talking about the one where he's like, for that one?
Yeah, for Frodo. That speech
For Frodo.
Oh, man. Because he was like, I bid you, men of the West, stand, or something like that. And it was just, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
like,
know
that's why Aragorn is like one of my favorite characters in that.
This is a certified hood classic.
And what annoys me a lot is, alright, look. I'd say Helm's Deep is probably my favorite battle from all the movies, but a lot of people, they don't even care about Lord of the Rings, but they watch like WatchMojo.com videos and stuff, and they're like, oh yes,
top 10 favorite.
Helm's Deep is the greatest battle of all time.
It's like top 10 Lord of the Rings dash Hobbit battles.
I think just because Watch Mojo says it's the top number one, like, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
Come on, shut up. It's like
Heckity frick.
Come on, man. Like what you want, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Faux show.
Faux show. Any last words about this? Just about this up soon.
Moment of silence, man.
Well, not moment of silence.
Alright.
But if I have to say something about Lord of the Rings, is that like, it's without a doubt my favorite like trilogy of all time. I've watched many movies in my lifetime, and I can thoroughly say that I enjoy every single little aspect of that trilogy. And without a doubt, the characters are amazing, the story is great, the build-up and CGI and makeup are just fantastic, and
The
choreography
best,
is
like,
amazing.
ever. Number one of
And
all time.
I just have to say that it's without a doubt always going to be my favorite trilogy, and nobody can change my mind.
What's good about what makes trilogies good though? Let's talk about what makes a trilogy good. What makes a trilogy good is when you're interested to see you're interested to be there. You want to be there. You're interested in every location. You're interested in every character. You want to be there. You want to be invested. The locations are so significant to each aspect of the story. Each location is like this beautiful representation of some beautiful moment that is so meaningful, and that's what Lord of the Ring represents is just this beautiful world that you just want to like. It's like this page you open in a page in a book, and you just want to put your foot in and just jump right in. You just want to jump right in, like Apache jump on that shit, motherfucker. What are you saying?
I don't even know.
All right, that's all we got. Any last words about Lord of the Rings? Anyways, one of the greatest trilogies ever.
I'm gonna say a bit of a pussy for saying one of the greatest. I love me some Pirates of the Caribbean and all that. I love the Dark Knight trilogy.
I said one of the greatest. It's not my favorite.
But in my opinion, it's the greatest. What tops it, Mike? What tops it in your opinion? I'm curious.
What tops it? Well, I don't know what tops it, but I don't want to say what tops it. I want to say what's better than it. But I think of a couple other trilogies that I like. I'd say Pirates of the Caribbean, the first three.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
The Mad Max, the first three.
I've not thought about that.
I haven't watched that actually.
Yeah, before Fury Road.
The first one, Road Warrior.
What else we got? The I was about to say Cornetto trilogy, but not original trilogy. Star Wars, obviously.
Yeah. That kind of tops.
Now the Thor trilogy. I love Thor 2. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. I like Thor 2. Raimi Spider-Man trilogy.
Oh my god,
that's
man.
a good one.
Oh,
but
that's a contender.
That is.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a contender, mostly because of the third film.
I like it because it's corny. Funny.
I don't know if anything that I just said is better than Lord of the Rings though. Like the only thing I
literally.
compare to Lord of the Rings is like Star Wars original
so
trilogy
don't say
and
one
the
of best,
prequels.
Just say the best. Don't be scared to say that. Also, can we make a case study on why the 2000s was like so good for trilogies? Like
It
look at all the
was.
good trilogies
No,
we got.
literally, it was. It literally was. I don't know why.
If National Treasure had a third fucking movie, that would be my favorite trilogy of all time. But they don't have a third movie.
Oh no, I don't have
Pirates. We got Pirates, Lord of the Rings, Spider-Man, The Dark Knight,
Star Wars.
Star Wars
Original trilogy. Oh no. 2000s. My
And
bad.
that's already 4 of GOAT trilogies. A bit later, Mike has his favorite Thor trilogy would come out. So yeah, just the 2000s, man. I don't know. They did new stuff. We have computer engineering. We have this new technology. We have great stuff.
You're ready
to
to test
You
it.
can just do everything's just on a much bigger
Yeah.
scope. Look at those battles, man. Look at those battles. Oh.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ooh, Matrix trilogy. Pretty well.
I like the first one.
Like the first one.
Yeah, the third one wasn't that good though.
Second one was.
I like all of them, but I wouldn't compare that to
Mhm.
Pirates or Mad Max.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's better. Thanks for listening. If you're listening on any podcast platform such as Spotify, Breaker, or Anchor, or Apple Podcast, give a rating. Makes the podcast looks more credible, and appreciate that. And if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that shit. And this Daniel.
What more can we say?
What can we say?
See you guys in the next video.